So don't buy any of these things. Hello, my name's Adam, welcome to another episode of Turtle Time. On today's episode we're going to be discussing one of these, which is a Shiano 80, and we're also going to be talking about these. So let's get to it. So, for anybody that's thinking of buying one, or anybody that's already bought one, let's have a quick look about why you should not buy one. So, this is an 80 litre, but it's only an 80 litre if it's filled up to the brim. If it's not filled up to the brim, then it's not an 80 litre. To give you some example, that's 17 gallons. So, by the rule of 10 gallons per inch of shell, this will give you 17, which means it's fine if your one and only turtle is going to be 1.7 inches and this is going to be filled to the brim. Let's talk about the reasons why it's not so good. This is only going to be filled, so it comes with these. Okay, so these are your basking area. You slot those in and you're going to fill your water to there. Instantly you've halved that. So your depth is now 9 gallons. So if you would purchase a 1 inch hatchling and put that into here, the instant you put it in, it's already outgrown its tank. Now while they look the part and they're all nice and compact and you can fill the water up to here and they can go and bask in the area, they just don't have enough room to swim. The other part of it is that as that hatchling grows and as you push the water up, these are now useless. Almost instantly, as soon as you put your hatchling in, the basking area has to go. So the basking area goes and you start to rise that water up. When the water rises up, you're going to have two problems. One, you need a basking area for your turtle to climb up onto, and two, it's going to escape. So these become redundant. Now if you've already bought one, it's not the end of the world, because you can use this as either a hospital tank or to dry dock, or if you're changing over, doing a big water change on a big tank and you want to keep water heated because it's going to take you a fair bit of time rather than putting in the water and that going cold, or dry docking in an area where you don't want to leave them for too long. Fine, so you can have a changeover tank. Other than that, they aren't great. So the other thing is, once we put these on, once you put your substrate in, once you put your rocks in, once you put your heater in, your filter in, everything else, that 9 gallons that you filled it to now becomes 8 gallons, and you can understand that they're just not going to have a happy time in here. Now what most people do is think it's cheap, it looks good, it'll do the job, and then you're away. Most people, once they purchase something like this, will go onto Amazon, they will type in UVA, UVB live, and what they'll come up with is something like this, which is an all-in-one bulb, and it comes like this. So what do? You purchase this, and we'll talk about how they clip the eye in a moment. They'll clip it on the side, and then they'll try to do all sorts of things to try and get it right. Now the problem is, these don't sit 9 to 10 inches away from the turtle. These aren't great. They're not sturdy enough to hold where you want it to be. And what you'll find yourself doing is putting the tie wrap around, holding it, keep moving it, and as you can see, once you put it in place, it just drops. Now the other thing with these is these all-in-one bulbs, which are supposed to provide you with both, do one of two things. Either you're going to have them, put that back in place, you're going to have it and it's going to sit too close to the turtle shell, and that's going to burn the turtle shell. unless you're able to strap it up. The dispersion of light and heat isn't adequate enough, it just won't give them the benefits that they need. And so what most people do is they end up with this and that and this setup, and then they realise that they need something like the dual dome, where you have the two separate lights and the fixtures and the stands, however you would set that up. And so they spend money on those after they've spent money on these and a new tank and everything else. Between purchasing something like this and setting this up and then going to the setup that they require, one, you've spent lots of money, two, you're then spending more money, and then you're risking your turtle's health through respiratory infections, through shell rot, through bone disease, through a number of those things that I've mentioned will be caused by this setup. Now the other thing is, you've got this tank set up, and let's say you're fine. You're going to put a filter in here. Now the filter that you can fit in here, to even give the amount of space that your turtle will need, will take a lot of that space. But because you've got a small volume of water and a filter that is 2 to 3 times bigger than this, and all that going on, it just can't handle the weight. Turtles give out a lot of weight and it just won't handle it. So my best advice is don't buy one. They look good, they look great, they look nice and neat and compact, and you can get whatever you want for a smaller amount of money, but all you'll end up with is problems. So don't buy any of these things. Just don't. There's no point to it. You may as well put your money, even if it means you have to wait that little bit longer, into a much bigger tank. Now the other thing is, once your turtle grows, they're going to need the bigger tank anyway. So if they're going to need that bigger tank, and fairly quickly, then you may as well start off with the bigger tank, one that will keep them for the rest of their lives, rather than a little one that will get you by for a little bit and then you've got to spend more money. So I hope this has been helpful, guys, and I hope this puts people off purchasing things like this. I mean, Ciano aren't the only ones that produce things like this, there is other companies, and there's other producers of these lights, but my best advice is to avoid. I would go with, as I said, the dual dome or 2 single dome fixtures with a Reptisun 10 26 watt and a Tuff 90 watt halogen, because that will give you the dispersion of light and heat over the area that they need, and it will give them the correct amounts. This sort of stuff just won't. So that's it for today. I'll see you on the next episode.